but it was so kind and so awesome. I honestly, like, this con population, I can't say enough good things about everybody in Charlotte. You guys rock. I've literally come back here every year for the rest of my life, so you're awesome. Absolute Batman to me, first of all, like, the way I would describe it is the way that we kind of, all of us, I think, approach it, right? Where Marie said it, it's making these heroes sort of appropriate, or making them even more heroic for this moment, trying to figure out what we're most afraid of and pitting them against those things. So for me, Absolute Batman really was looking at my kids. I got 3 boys. One is 19, one is 15, one is 7. But especially for the older 2, you know, what would make Batman, and you know, as my favorite character, exciting to them the way he was to me when I was first reading comics. And he seemed so real, right? When Dark Knight Returns came out and all this, I was growing up in New York City, all that kind of feeling of him being immediate. And so for us, like, look around and they're facing a world where, regardless of your politics, I think we can all agree, like, the rich and the powerful are pulling way more levers than they should be. And it's harder and harder for young working class people, young people coming into the real world. And so it felt like, let's invert the mythos. Instead of Batman being the system and order and sort of the entrenched power, let's make him the disruptor, the Joker, but the good version, someone who's the rebel, the one kind of breaking things and rebuilding them. And let's make the Joker the one that has all of the resources, who's the handsome generational billionaire. And from there, really, everything began with Nick. Nick was the first person I thought of to do it, the only person really. I actually told James Tynan, I was terrified of doing it, I didn't think I would, and I was like, Nick, God, I can't do it, I'm not gonna do it. So that was really it. But you know, reinventing it with him, trying to make it something where it felt like it has the grittiness of Mazzucchelli with his style, but also has the kineticism of manga, the elasticity, but above all, he's an incredible storyteller, the same way Hayden is. A lot of the creators on here are all about story. And so for us, that's really what it is. It's just Batman trying to make you brave in the face of the things that, you know, I see my kids afraid of and angry about right now. And we never expected any of this to take off. This way Marie will vouch, like, Marie's one of my best friends, and like, I remember, like, before we launched being like, I'm not driving DC into the iceberg, right? This isn't like that. I'm the one that's gonna like sink it with all of this. So the fact that you guys have showed up the way you have means so much to all of us. We're so grateful, and we'll keep it going as long as you guys will read it. We really take the responsibility of this line very seriously. So you're the best.
And something you just said about Gotham, right? So going to Nick, Gotham is a classic. Gotham City is a classic. We all sort of have it in our heads. We know what it is. What makes your Absolute Batman Gotham feel different from any other Gotham City? Does it have its own visual language?
No, I mean, I think it just comes through me and Scott's filter, and then, you know, I think that's what it is. The deadline is the ultimate motivation. Me and Scott talk about what it could be, and then it's like, oh shit, we better get to work. And then it's what comes out. And I think, you know, I have to mention Frank Martin Jr., who had so much depth and the lighting and the beautiful skies, and makes my job easier. And you know, me, Frank, Scott, Tom, the letter, Clayton, the older letter, Katie, and we're just, you know, it's just through our filter of what we see Gotham and getting it done on time. There's not much more thought than that, but I guess Chicago was my influence. I went with more gridded, blockier buildings. I want everything to mimic our Bruce. Rough, square, rectangular, monolithic, and big. So that's kind of a rule we kind of stick to. Thus the bat symbol, all of it, you know, constantly hitting those themes.
You know who else is big? Diana, Absolute Wonder Woman. Hayden. So Absolute Wonder Woman, mythic, hell raised, huge. What has been the most fun part of building that visual language with Kelly Thompson?
I mean, starting just from how Diana looks, I think that set the tone so early on. I've probably talked about it before, but we had only a month worth where it was like, we got the green light on the absolute Wonder Woman, we have to build this character. We were in it deep, figuring out how she looks, how she feels, how tall is she, which I mean, okay, I gotta give my thanks to you. The cover you did for the crossover, like I've been wanting an absolute Wonder Woman to just have that like little half an inch of height.
She's a god. She's gonna look at
So the ability to really push and pull all of these elements that we classically associate with Wonder Woman, trying to keep the core iconography, but build something new on top of it, taking those hellish inspirations. Really once it was had her locked down, it felt like we had the tone of the book overall. Like similar to what you were saying there, with you want a sense of cohesion for the book overall. So where you're building with these rectangular bulky shapes for Batman, I feel like we're building with these more, we want this organic feeling to the world that she lives in, that there's this sort of flow. And recently we showed that at Absolute Aries, and I wanted his armor to feel not just like classic ancient Greek armor, which we've seen a lot with Aries, and is amazing and beautiful, but it's also something that we've seen since the ancient Greek invented him, and you know, since he existed as a mythological force. So now we're getting to pull in elements of that classic iconography that goes back to so far into pulling from musculature, pulling into like what does like the armor of a god look like? It doesn't have to function on the same level like it is. It's magic.
Yeah, so you figured out who Diana is, and now we go to Che. So Absolute Catwoman, that's a heist book with emotional teeth. I don't know how many of you have seen it. It just came out.
Yep.
What is the moment where you thought, oh, this is who Absolute Catwoman is? And how are you and Miguel showing that on the pages of the comic?
Yeah, I think it was interesting because it's not quite like her origin story, but it's really a book about her context within the Absolute universe and thinking about her past and her present, and how badly Selena as a character wants to separate the two. And she thinks that she can at the beginning of the book, and she realizes she can't. Like, her past is filled with the uncertainty and the hardships that Gotham often deals to the working class and to the marginalized. And we see her in the beginning, she's gotten so far up. Scott was like, we just want her, the visual we always had is that she's always on the rooftop because she wants to get so high away from everything that she feels pulls her down. That feeling of being stuck in the mud, being sucked down, and feeling like rock bottom. And so when we find her at 25, she's like, oh, I made something work, I worked around that. And then her past comes knocking on her door and goes, not quite. But for me, who Selena is was really important because I grew up with understanding Selena through the lens of like what Eartha Kitt and Michelle Pfeiffer brought to her. That was just for me personally, and I think I really wanted to that for her. Like, she's so amazing in the main line, but I think in order to make her work at the Absolute, I had to figure out how she speaks to me. And the thing that really clicked for me is the why. Why does she steal? And the moment that Scott, Andrew, and I said, oh, she doesn't take, she centers everything through the lens of what is taken from her. So how does a thief act as someone who frames things as not the magpie aiming for the shiny thing, but the girl with a grudge who is wrestling with how to get back all the things that was taken from her and the people that she loved. And once I had that, again, all the themes of being entangled and being too low and wanting to get high, all that informs the story, the plot, the twists, the turns, and the character movements.
She's somebody we saw a lot as a child, and now she's coming back as a 25-year-old, right?
Exactly.
So, Scott, you talked a lot about Bruce's relationships, not just Selena, but also, Harvey, Oswald, being the emotional spine of Absolute Batman. But how does that shape the way you write the villains? Did they also have an emotional spine?
I don't know if well, I mean, they have emotionals, but they have no morals, like most of them. Like, I love, and first, let me just say, like, it's such a joy to get to just watch what Shay and Bengal create on that book. I just get to be a cheerleader. Everything you love about that book is them and Giovanna and Lucas the letterer. So thank you so much for pitching something so strong that I just get to sign it. Like, that's it. Like, people bring it up and I'm like, I feel guilty because all the hard work and the incredible sort of artistry and craft of that book is them. So huge thanks for making me
Gracias, Nerd, con nuestro
Where with Bruce's, I grew up in New York City, and my closest friends, I still have a lot of friends